Welcome to the latest episode of Platform Podcast. Today's guest is Jaro Frijn.
God, give me one sentence more. Maybe I just gotta get suspended more.
Jaro has been a part of the Dutch scene for years and years, ever since he was a little kid. He won the Winterclash Juniors event in 2016, and since that time, he's also been on the top 3 podium for both the amateur event and the pro event. In addition to that, he's been in the top 3 at FISE several times, and this year has been absolutely incredible for him. He came second in the NL Contest in France, first in the SPT Jam in Liverpool, first again in the London Jam in, you guessed it, London, and most recently he got bronze at the World Skate Games bowl event. In addition to being an undeniably great park skater and a fierce competition rider, he's also pretty handy on street. He's had full street sections out for Rollerblade, This Is Soul, and his most recent sponsor, USD Skates. Recently, I've been really impressed with Jaro and just his drive, his commitment to skating, and just appearing in these events all over Europe, getting himself out there, regularly placing on the podium, and overcoming some of the best skaters in the world right now, including people like Joe Atkinson, Julien Cadeau, pretty much any French rider that appears at international events. And he seems to be really building a name for himself and becoming one of those guys that other skaters are watching out for at major events. In recent years, he is very regularly in the finals, and quite a lot of the time he's appearing in the top 3 as well. So it seems like he's got a really bright future ahead of him. I wanted to talk to Jaro about his inspirations and his motivation to kind of just get himself out there and appear at all these things and put himself through all that, because there's not that much financial gain from going around the competition circuit, especially when you consider things like flights, accommodation, food. And most recently, he was in Italy for quite a while, hoping to compete at both events. But after getting bronze in the bowl event, he actually got injured in training for the street and wasn't able to compete. So it limited what he was able to get out of it, essentially. And I just want to pick his brains about basically his outlook on skating, whether he favors street or park, whether he thinks it matters which discipline you tend to focus on, and just generally get to know him. Before all that, though, I want to give a giant shout out to my Patreon supporters. They are listed on the screen now. You can join the Wheel Scene Patreon for as little as £3 a month, and there's a bunch of videos on there that aren't on the YouTube channel. I've rattled on long enough about that. Cue the music.
The platform. The platform. The platform. The platform.
How we doing?
Tired but good. Tired but good. Yeah.
When did you get
Yeah.
back from Italy?
Yeah, I just came back 2 days ago or something, and it was
Okay.
yeah, it was so much going on there.
Okay.
So good, but so good. And how are you?
I'm
Thank
good.
you first of all for inviting me.
I've always wondered, is it Jaro Frijn or Jaro Frijn? Or am I getting your name completely wrong?
The second one.
Jaro Frijn.
Yeah.
I'm never going to remember that, but okay, at least I got it right. Okay, Jaro Frijn,
Yeah,
right.
a lot of people don't remember it that way. The French people say Frien, the Brazilians can say they can't even say the name. So
It took me years before I realized that Leffy Van Rijn's name was not Levy or Levi. For I'm pretty sure for years I just called him Levy.
yeah, Levi,
Yeah.
Levi van der Rijn, we say. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was Italy? How many days were you there for?
Around 2 weeks. Yeah. So it was
You were there for 2 weeks.
yeah,
Okay.
2 weeks. So how it works with the World Skate Games, they give you around 3 days of practice, and then with a group around, let me say, 8 till 12 people, and then each group for park we have 45 minutes a session. So we with 8 to 12 people we have 45 minutes every single day, and then for 3 days. And then straight after those training sessions, we have qualifications, the semifinals, and then the finals, all like in a separate day. So that gives us 6 days for only the park contest.
Yeah.
And then after the park contest, like after the prize givings, we had to move because first we were in Ostia, in Rome, but then we had to like travel from Ostia an hour to the street section, which is right next to the Colosseum.
Yeah.
And there it was again. And there was again like the 3 days practice, 3 days competition. So
that's got to be the only competition in rollerblading that gives you that much practice. Like, does anyone need 3 days? I feel like
no,
I feel like after one day, you know what you're going to do in your run.
true. But then at the same time, we have like I was in the heat with probably like 10, 11 people, and it was like at the skate park, it was a bowl. So
I
it
suppose
was
so.
like a
It's quite
bowl.
difficult to
So
like practice
yeah,
lines because it's that could be quite chaotic. Yeah.
and everybody was like trying to figure out their line, and then 45 minutes is not that long though, not that long.
I suppose, yeah, if you're
But it
trying to
was, but it was
squeeze
enough.
in all the sports, yeah, okay, yeah, that does make sense because there's obviously um there was rollerblading, there were other sports as well, wasn't there? There was scooters and there was skateboards as well. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. All in the same stuff. I don't know if scootering had the half pipe like the third, but they definitely had park and street. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I don't think I've ever seen someone ride a vert ramp on a scooter. Now that you've said that,
I think there are a few, but I never saw it. I don't think it's that big of a deal though.
yeah. I mean, I don't doubt that they could because some of those
Yeah.
guys can go big. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But so how was the experience? So obviously, congratulations on getting
Thank
you
you.
got bronze, right, in the bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Third place.
But so what was did it feel different to like other competitions? Because obviously you've done big events before. Like
Yeah.
you've competed in FISE and got on the podium there. You've competed at oh god,
Winterclash.
like Winter
Yeah,
Clash and stuff like
yeah,
that. And there was I was trying to think there was something like NL Contest and things like that,
hmm,
like these big
yeah,
like multi-sport events.
yeah.
Did it feel like similar to any of those
No,
or
no,
no?
no. And you might think it is, but what was so different about this one is that every country brought the whole team with them. So when we're at FISE, when we're at NL Contest or Winter Clash, nobody's like bringing their coaches or bringing their doctors or physiotherapists. But here, everyone did. And then everyone is like wearing their French t-shirts and the Brazilian t-shirt and the Spanish crew. They all came like in these all Spanish tracksuits, and that was different. So you saw that everybody was so focused on their stuff though, and then so everybody had their team with them, and I just came with my family because the Dutch Federation and the Dutch, we don't even have like federation or stuff.
I was about to say
So
the UK doesn't have one either because the guys obviously set up a GoFundMe to go over, but because
yeah,
yeah, I saw your post, so it kind of felt like I kind of like almost like going to the Olympics with like different national teams and stuff like that, but like on a
yeah,
much smaller scale. Um,
it was, yeah,
there can't be that many countries with federations because I know France and Brazil have had established ones
yeah.
for quite a while, and I saw even India had one, which was pretty random.
Yeah.
But there can't
Spain,
be
Italy,
there can't be that many. Who was on like I can't even think of Italian skaters that would have been on that. Like,
Gallo,
hmm?
Gallo, the guy skating for Echo
Oh,
Skate.
oh, Galilee. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yep, yep,
yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah.
That's what I always think of his nickname, so I can't actually now. Hippolito, I think that's his second name.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. I couldn't even think of like guys that would compete in the bowl contest from Italy. Like there was when they said it was like all these national teams, I was like, I can't think of like that many like big ramp skaters from some of these countries.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, a lot
Like,
of people I haven't seen before. A few guys from Chile haven't seen before. So yeah, there were a lot of new faces, but because of yeah, they don't come to FISE because they have to pay it all themselves and it's expensive. And now they had like the country pay for everything for them. So I just saw a lot of new faces
okay.
coming to the World Skate Games. Yeah.
So I saw you put up a post basically like saying, yeah, you got like no support to go there. But
Yeah.
then I was reading that and I was thinking, how is that any different from the majority of skate contests you go to? Because surely most of the skate events you attend, you're funding it yourself. No?
Um, Mostly, but not all of it though. So I mostly just stay at people's places, and then, for example, when I go to FISE, they always like support me with a hotel and stuff. And FISE is also like a pretty long time, and then when I go to NL contest, I'll have the same, and then give me a bit of money for the travel costs. So, but then it is hard to marketing yourself with a FISE, with a NL contest to brands that are outside of rollerblading. And what is, I think, the difference with a world skate games like world championships is the marketing thing about it. Because after you're the world champion or the second or in the third place, then your position switch. Yeah, it switches a little bit to the brands that you're talking with.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people do understand that part a little bit. And me myself, for example, I talk with a few brands, and then I have this thing like road to world champion. That is how I marketing it to the brands that have no clue about inline skating.
Yeah.
So I think the world championships is exactly like the fees or like something like that, but then the load of the marketing that you can bring with it, I think, is way bigger than a fees or an L contest. Yeah.
That's quite funny because I would have thought like fees would have been like on a similar level because it appears in cities. People don't have to pay to get in. It appears on all
Mhm.
these like YouTube and TV channels, and
Yeah.
it's like multi-sport. So it's like it's not just getting rollerblade people in, it's getting BMX or skateboarding,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. I would have thought fees would have had this kind of same appeal because yeah, it's just a lot more open and a lot more visible to the public.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But then there are a lot of good skaters if you look at FIS Montpellier. But then I think that's for sure the biggest one in the FIS World Series. But then the one that is in Shanghai in a little bit, I'm not going to Shanghai because it's just way too far, way too expensive, and that's the part I want to go, but I also do like skate shows in the Netherlands, and I have the exact same time period of skate shows, and yeah, it's difficult to manage all the stuff. What is important? What is not important? The
I
world
mean,
skate games, it's
it's not that difficult to manage. If one of them is sending you to the other side of the world and costing you money, and one of them you stay in your home country and make money,
make money. Yeah,
it's
true
not
that.
that difficult a decision
Yeah,
at
true that.
all.
True that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's true. But I think there were a lot of new faces in the World Skate Games, and when I look to like the fee stuff, it's mostly the same faces. Yeah,
But even though it's all these new faces at the World Skate Games, the podium is still the same
the
faces.
podium is still the same. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Which was which was nah. I mean, Leo who was second at Pro Man.
true,
He
but
was not a
then,
new face in the scene, yeah, 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 yeah,
but it's still like the podium's like Julian's there, Nils
yeah,
Jansson's there. Like, it's like
yeah, true.
it's still the same winners that we get in our normal contests.
Yeah. What do you think about it of the World Skate Games?
I don't really know too much about it. I know they did like the one in Argentina and then they did the
Yeah.
one in Spain somewhere. Can't remember where was it Barcelona maybe or Portugal? Was it Portugal? They
Yeah,
did.
yeah, that was the European Championships street.
Yeah, I know they did those two, and like I thought it was great when they did the one in maybe it was Brazil or Argentina. Was it Argentina?
Hmm.
I think it was Argentina. The one where Danilo almost won, but then he
Yeah,
fell, and I was like, oh my! Like he started off so well, and then he just, if he could just have stayed on his feet, and then obviously Julian went mental and just did
yeah,
like the double backflip straight out, and then if Julian stays on his feet, he's pretty much impossible to beat.
yeah.
Like he just, yeah, he just goes far too hard. I think, I mean, anything that gets rollerblading out to a wider audience, I'm all for, as long as it doesn't make us look stupid or like in any way. I feel like we've done a lot of work over the last 2 decades to kind of like build a culture around our sport and like not look as cheesy and tacky as we did in the 90s. And I just don't like anything that kind of starts taking it back towards that.
Yeah,
I don't feel like that was. I feel like it felt like the closest we've ever got to a kind of Olympics.
yeah,
And if bigger organizations see stuff like that and went, oh, that went well, or that was well received, then maybe it is a stepping stone to something bigger. So yeah, I'm all for it. I don't, what was, well, as someone who was there and competed in it, what's your take on it? Because you said that you weren't, you said before you went, you were initially quite skeptical. So now that you've been and done it, like what's your thoughts on it?
I think overall was really good. The professionalism that they had there was really good. They were really strict on who got a pass and with the team and the riders lounge, and then the teams had like their own little room for their physiotherapists and the doctors and their own place. Um, I think the anti-doping stuff, because we had to do like a whole course of the anti-doping, so we had to do, yeah, to get an anti-doping certificate to even join it.
Right.
But that's also with FISE now. So we have with FISE, the federation has to sign you up for it.
Okay.
The coach has to do the anti-doping course. The athlete had to do the anti-doping course.
J- just for clarification, do recreational drugs get you into trouble for these anti-doping things? So, like, if marijuana showed up in one of the skaters' blood tests, would they get disqualified,
Yeah.
or is it only performance? Because stuff like
Oh,
that, this I always find hilarious. Like, a sprinter was like kicked out of the Olympics and like banned for several years for marijuana showing
yeah.
up in her blood, and I'm like, that is not a performance enhancing drug. If anything, that's going to make you slower. So, like, if that shows up, how is that? Why
Yeah.
is that even a banned substance? That is not helping anyone win. No one is taking that and getting gold.
True.
Like,
True. But yeah, but still, yeah, these rules. But I think we need to have both, like in the scene. I think you need the stuff from FISE and the World Skate Games, but I also like the freedom and the just fuck it style from Winterclash.
yep.
You know, so I think it's really important for the sport to like keep the original culture a little bit where it's free and rough and do it, and to move on the other side up, maybe towards the Olympics one day.
Oh no, you
Yeah,
can definitely, yeah, I definitely think there's space to have both sides,
yeah,
both ends of the spectrum. And you see it in skateboarding. You've got like the big tattooed guys that only film street parts and they don't even enter contests and people love them and their boards sell out. And then you've got like your Nigel Houstons that just
yeah,
win millions of dollars by just dominating contests. So it's like you can definitely have, yeah, both. Um, but it is quite interesting. So see when you're like on site for like the World Skate Games and stuff like that, do they provide like food and drinks? Like are you looked after when you're there or is it you're funding everything on your own?
yeah, yeah. So for this trip, I did get a bit of help of USD to sign myself up.
Okay.
They paid my entrance fee, and then Digital Skate Shop. Yeah, they're always supporting me.
I was going to ask if your sponsors like stepped up and helped you out in any way. Right. Okay.
Yeah, 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 and it did. No, but when we were there, we no, you have to pay it. You have to pay it yourself. But then I was lucky. I was like getting to my parents and to my brother, hey, don't you want to go to Rome? It's a beautiful city. You've never been there, right? And then they were like, no. And I was like, okay. Oh, yeah, the World Championships in Rome. Maybe it's cool if you if you guys can come. And And then they really did. They really wanted to see me skate at the world championships. And then even a friend of mine, my best friend, flew over to see me perform. And
That's
that
pretty cool.
and that was a cool thing to have them there, but also to like, you know, we were all in the house together, and all of us had to play out. So that was a bit. Hey.
Yeah, you're not sleeping in like a crowded youth hostel or sleeping on someone's like floor or sofa. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was good. No, the overall experience, they managed it really, really well.
Okay.
Really, yeah. No, they did it good. Yeah.
So you mentioned like brands outside of the sport. See if you're appearing on these podiums at like FISE fairly regularly. You've won
Yeah.
the LDN Jam, you won the Southport Jam. You're appearing regular, like you've appeared on the podium at Winterclash a few times. So it's like, so uh, how is like discussions going with these brands, especially with like your latest one? You're like, well, I just came third in like an
Hmm.
international event that was, all over social media and YouTube and yada yada yada. Like,
Yeah.
does that help with the conversations, or do you get in touch with them
No.
again afterwards, being like, here's me on the podium, here's me with a
Yeah.
medal? Like,
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Both. Yeah. Both actually. Yeah. Both. So what I try to do these days is I used to do like small, short. Uh, I work with a few companies, but then for a short period of time. And I just see and I just feel that that isn't something for me. I mean, it's all right, but it's not my type of thing. I like to have a relationship with the band for a longer period of time. Yeah, long term relationship, um, and that is okay to find. But because the sport is still so small,
yeah,
I need to deliver to perform to like sell myself on that point again, because as I just said, I'm selling the things that I'm doing to companies as road to world champion, so they can feel it, they get a feeling by it, and they want to help me. And so yeah, I'm definitely gonna use that in the future, like the
okay.
therapeutic.
So what kind of brands have you like worked with in the past? Like what kind of products do they release?
I worked with Teufel, which is an audio brand from Germany, and they sell speakers, earplugs, and like all the audio type of things. I worked with Bank, that's a credit card company. I worked with Oppo, which has the phones, but that was like all for a short period of time. Nothing
Right.
really. Yeah.
And what is it? What do they want from you in return? Like, is it just a matter of like wearing stuff with their logo on it when you're at events, or do you have to do other stuff? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, I think the main reason is the exposure, of course, and with the logos on the helm and wearing their stuff, but at the same time introducing them to a completely new audience, because most of the time they are trying to like be in the urban culture and being a little bit in those uh, to get in touch with those type of people. Um, and I think that's what I can do, like pushing them into pushing them a little bit more into the urban culture. Also, because the state of Amsterdam, they are supporting us in the Netherlands, which with housing, with strength and conditioning trainers. So in the Netherlands, I have everything pretty sorted, and then they made a whole urban athlete training system. So I train with BMXers, like strength and conditioning training. I train with BMXers, free run guys, break dancers. So I have all those people really close to me. So what I always try to do is when I go to a company, then I talk about myself, but I also talk that I'm in that program, in the trainings program, and that I have all the links really, really close within the all-round urban category.
Right. I
So I
didn't
try
re
to,
Yeah, I didn't realize that was
yeah.
a thing
Sorry.
in like in the Netherlands. Okay, so it's actually an
Hmm.
organization. So it's an organization that helps you out with strengthening and conditioning and like I guess like honing your skills, but not with getting to events.
No, true. Yeah.
That seems like they've missed out quite a large part. Like, what is all the conditioning for, if not to compete?
Yeah, that's true. So that is also one of our points that we discussed as well, but it is already really expensive to have like 20 athletes, because we're with almost 20 athletes, like urban athletes, to put up this program for us, because we have 4 times a week strength and conditioning training, and then 3 times a week they also make us dinner. So we get to eat there. Then the place where I'm in right now, they help me like try to get it in Amsterdam, because I live in Amsterdam. It's so hard to do, but yeah, they are missing out on the
Just
get
seems
us to
like it's like
the
they're putting
competition.
in all this other work, but I'm assuming these are all like the BMXers and the skateboarders are all like mainly like competition riders.
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
So it's like, oh,
So there's room for improvement. Yeah, for
we'll
sure.
prepare you for all this stuff, but we won't actually give you what you need to go and
Yeah,
compete.
yeah. No, yeah, true that, and we all think there's still room for improvement, but then at the same time, I'm really lucky, if I speak for myself, that I have this opportunity to like build a team around me in the Netherlands, and then I think the next step is to build a team around me when I'm traveling to competitions.
Right.
Yeah,
But I do know with fees, like, well, from what I understand, speaking to other people that compete on it, like when you get to a certain level, or if you win like a couple of events, or like you're known as like a crowd pleaser or whatever, fees will regularly send you places and like pay for your flights and your accommodation and
yeah.
your food and stuff like that. Like, do you get any of that or?
No, what they used to do, and they don't do that anymore, unfortunately. That's why I mean, no, yeah, I can't go to Shanghai. They used to do, first stop was in Japan, so you had to pay your own trip to Japan, and then most of the time they will like help you out with hotel. Then if you'll be in the top 5, then they will pay your next destination to then FISE Montpellier.
Right.
And then again, when you're in top 5, you will get the next destination paid, which is to China. So
Okay.
that is how they used to do it. So top 5 flight, hotel, um, that was paid for, but now they don't do that anymore.
All right, because I thought that was like how people like CJ and stuff like that kept managing to like hop from these like events to events because they were like
Yeah, I
setting up.
mean, it could be that they still like pay a few people to do it. I know they stopped doing that for the BMX riders, because they also used to do it for them, because it's an Olympic sport, and they cannot like you know yeah, they cannot pay for one and then not for the other, and then there's going to be a big
Yeah,
discussion. But I
yeah,
don't know why they stopped it within inline skating.
that's a shit. Right, okay, that is quite a shame because yeah, I thought that was one of like the big selling points for fees that yeah, if you did well and you were yeah appearing in like you said like the top 5, it was like it was an incentive. They would like send you to more events. But
Yeah,
yeah, if it's basically just another example of you having to, it's quite a strange thing because you're like, you're sending yourself to these different places across the world, right?
yeah,
And you're competing. So the competition gets something out of it because they're getting the best skiers in the world, the best big park skiers or the best competition skiers in the world appearing at their events, like entertaining the crowds. And the brands are getting stuff out of it because you're wearing their stuff, like This Is Soul, or you're wearing USD skates. But it
yeah,
seems like the only person that isn't really benefiting from it is the skater.
yeah.
So it's like you're spending your own money to fly across the world and promote brands that aren't paying you to do it.
Yeah, like like you mean with me now personally?
Yeah, well, like
Yeah,
say for like because you're not on the pro team for USD, right?
I'm not on the protein POC.
So you don't get a salary.
I don't
There's no
get it.
like there's no like yeah, royalties or anything. It's just you're just
No,
getting
no.
skates.
Yeah, I get skates, but then together with Digital Skate Shop, I do get a salary from a Digital Skate Shop,
Okay.
And I'm also like working together with Ivo on the YouTube videos, and I'm working together with him to set up a whole new This Is All team. Um, so yeah, together with the salary, like the sponsorship contract that I have with him, and with the YouTube and building a team again. Um, that is, yeah, he's really helping me out a lot with that. But then at the same time, true that yeah, we have to pay the trip ourselves, and then to Montpellier, they helped me out with a hotel. I live in Amsterdam, so that's not that big of a deal. But if, for example, I was free and I wanted to go to Shanghai, then the flight was really expensive.
Yeah.
Then they probably would help me out with the hotel. But then still, then the prize money, even if you win it, it is almost not the risk to,
I
yeah,
was about
to
to say,
do it.
how much do you even, what is it like, how much do you win for winning fees? Is it like 3,000, 5,000? Is
Yeah,
it,
dollars.
is it even that much?
No, yeah, around the 2.5, 3 mark. Yeah, something like that.
Right. So it's
Two and a half.
$3,000.
Yeah, 2.5
I
maybe.
mean, flying to China can pretty much eat up one.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's why it's like at this point it is really, I really have to be skeptical. Where do I go? I just moved out of my parents' house. I have to now, like, pay these things for myself, and then earn a bit of extra money within the inline skating, doing competitions. So yeah, I always, and they most of the times do help me out, or with the flight, or with a sleeping place, or try to keep it
Would
as.
would your parents think about this when you explain it to them? You're like, yeah, so like I like fly to this country and I like break myself off and get really hurt and like basically do like the best tricks I can to try and beat everyone else. And then they're like, oh, so you get loads of money from that. And you're like, no, I get just enough to basically cover all
Not
the
yet.
expenses that I paid when I was out there and like my flight, my accommodation, my food. And then I come back and I've got like $500 or $600 left, and they're like, "It-
Yeah,
what? What? Like,
yeah.
okay.
No, yeah, yeah. So the money was never even like the big thing for me to start inline skating, of course. And then it is still not the drive, the money. I mean, I need money to survive, but I'm not skating now to get like loaded rich. I just skate because I love it, and it does help pay the bills. For now, I mean, I'm not living a bad life within inline skating. My parents were always like the most supportive people I know. Since I was 5, they brought me to the skate park, and started skating when I was 5 years old, and then worked my way up. And my parents just brought me to all these competitions in Germany, in France, like just for the weekend, leaving on Thursday night, and then Sunday evening back, and then Monday they went to work again. So they were always really supportive. Um, but I'm now living life. I mean, I can travel to wherever I want. I'm free as hell. I make a bit of money within inline skating. Back home, I'm also DJing, so I also DJ to make some money.
Okay.
Um, Used for a couple of TV programs back in the Netherlands, which yeah, which pays me money. So
So
I mean,
if money isn't if money isn't the motivation, what's the motivation for like doing all the traveling and all the competing then? Because if you just want to do it for like the joy of the sport, like why do you need to fly around the world to do it then?
because I love traveling
Okay.
and I love meeting new people, and I love, like, I mean, of course it is. I can't lie that it is the motivation, also the money, but it's not the main reason why I do all these competitions.
Yeah.
Just the fact that I'm as free as a bird. I mean, I don't have a full-time job now, a 9 to 5, and everything else. I just I'm a free man. I can just book a ticket to wherever I want now, and the whole cares.
That says true. That is, yeah, that is a luxury. How old are you?
23.
Oh, whoa. Okay. So
Yeah,
that also makes you like one of the youngest guys at these events as well, then.
yeah. So we have Danilo now. He's 18, which is really really young.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm one of the well, one of the young guns.
What's your views on that? Because obviously it's gone from people like CJ Wellsmore and Joe Atkinson and Julian and like quite a lot of the French guys like dominating these big ramp style competitions like FISE, NL Contest,
Mhm.
Winterclash, all that kind of stuff, and like regularly being first, second, third. And now I
Yeah,
feel like it's starting to creep in where like younger guys like Jay Yoon's getting in there
yeah,
and he's like challenging them for like the top spot. You're appearing on the podium. You've got Danilo now creeping in there, now appearing at events because
yeah,
everyone always knew he was amazing, but he was always stuck in Brazil.
yeah,
And
yeah,
now he's old enough to start kind of traveling on his own and get out there.
yeah.
And it kind of feels like there's a change. Take it. Obviously, people like Julian's kind of a freak of nature and is defying like aging and has been competing at international events for like over 20 years now and winning them. But it feels like quite a lot of them is like people like CJ. He's basically like getting older. He's picking up
Mhm.
like injuries that keep coming back. And
Yeah,
even
that's
Joe Atkinson, Joe's not winning as many competitions as he was like 2 or 3 years ago. So
Mhm.
like as someone who's in that, like are you witnessing a change or like how do you see it from your perspective?
yeah. I think we are witnessing a change, but then at the same time, these guys they have so much experience within skating competitions and within skating, like yeah, skating in general. Um, but the thing that was really interesting is when Julien Cadeau had an he just won the park contest, and then he had an interview with World Skate Games, and then they asked him who was your biggest threat, and then he said my biggest threat was Jaro and Danilo, and then after the semis there was Leo. He said like three young names. So I think that also examples that the young guys are climbing up a bit and a bit more, but the guys like CJ, Julian, Joe, I learn a lot from them. I
Oh,
really
I
learn.
mean,
And I talk a lot with them.
they are unbelievable, not
Yeah,
just unbelievable competition skaters, they're unbelievable skaters.
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, we have a long way to go to like get close to them or beat them, but I think we're doing a good job.
Oh, you say that, but you have beat some of them at events. Like you beat
Yeah, but
Julian
not regularly though.
not regularly, but I mean, he's a really tough guy to beat.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think my moment from that is when Julian and I had a battle in Liverpool. So at Rambrook skate parks, we both went there, and then yeah, it was a battle who was coming first and second. And because that's a whole different game. Skating feast and finding your line, that's one game. But having like a 5 minute jam, skating with Julian Cadeau is on another level because we have such different strategies.
Yeah.
He's doing more like the banger, 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 banger crazy tricks, and I do like a couple of maybe crazy tricks, but then mostly keeping the line and the speed and the control and no bill. So yeah, there's such a difference in skating.
I've noticed that. I've noticed that your thing is like it kind of reminds me of like Jeff Stockwell. Jeff was like, you stay on your feet, you land multiple tricks in a row. Like you don't
Yeah,
like he's like, it's all very well going for like the crowd pleasers, but if you're just falling about the place, he's like, I don't want to look like that. He's like, I want to like fly around a park and land loads of
yeah.
tricks in a row.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. Also, what's so Julian's obviously hyper competitive. Otherwise,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have been at the top of the sport for as long as he has been. What's he like when you beat him? Like, what does he say anything to you, or like
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
what does he say after when you come out on top?
Well, it was a bit of a funny thing because already saw him standing and we looked to each other. Then I walked up to him when they were announcing the podium, and we knew it was going to be close until, yeah, for the both of us. Um, but there was literally, I didn't feel any hate. I mean, I know he wanted to win, but then when his name was announced second, he just gave me a big hug and said, "Well deserved, Jaro. You smashed this whole week. Keep it going." And then he ran up the podium. And then afterwards we talked a bit, but no, actually no hard feelings for anyone if someone beats each other. No, and I
Yeah.
think that is a thing that I really enjoy also about skating competitions is of course the competition itself, but also the fact that I get to see Joe and CJ and Julian again, and then and then Danilo again, and all the guys, and then we have a chat, and then afterwards we drink beer together. And
That is, yeah, like I do know some people don't take it well when like the results don't go their way, but I have heard Julian's like pretty cool about it and will like congratulate people or say, "Oh yeah, like I can." They're like that makes. There was one recently where he was like, "Oh, I think he ended up winning the competition," but he was like, "Oh, if that guy had been placed above me," he was like, "I wouldn't have been mad." He was like, "That guy skated just as good
yeah,
as I did." He was like,
yeah,
"They just scored me higher," and I was like, "That's a really cool thing to say," because he could have easily just went, "I'm the best."
yeah, yeah, because he's winning everything at the moment. Yeah, no, but no. He is nothing like that. No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah, he does give off the impression of being, yeah, being a decent guy. So what are the shows you're going to be doing this year then instead of you said you were doing shows in the Netherlands?
Yeah, so I'm doing skating shows and DJ shows,
Right.
both. And then in a couple of weeks, we have a week of rehearsals. Amsterdam is then Amsterdam for 750 years. So we're gonna have we're gonna have a really big show one day with all Dutch artists and stuff. And then it's called Ish Collections. And then we're gonna do a show in it's called the Ziggo Dome in one of the biggest stadiums in Amsterdam with ramps and they're just probably skating in the background. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been tempted to try and get one of the like performing jobs? Because obviously you've got guys that are doing like the Cirque du Soleil, or you've got guys that are doing the Starlight Express, or they're
Yeah.
doing like the shows in these to the shows in like Germany and
Las
places like that.
Vegas and every yeah.
Have you ever been tempted or like
I
auditioned for
have
any of that kind of stuff?
I have yeah I got multiple like messages from people that wanted me to have me there. I had a few meetings also with them, but then um, I can't travel anymore. So I have to go there, and then I'm having to do the shows again and again and again, and then yeah, then I would probably not skate FISE anymore and not travel that much anymore and not do all the stuff. And you probably you mostly have a contract for a year or maybe a bit less. So I still want to do it, but maybe not at this time because I feel I'm now like doing a really good job in inline skating, and I think I can push it way more. Maybe in a few years, I want to do it, but at this point, I don't think it's the smartest move. Also because of the stuff with the DJing, I'm doing more and more shows now with a friend of mine. So yeah, I think I will give up too much that I'm doing right now for the shows.
It does seem like one of these things that because I've spoke to a few guys that have done it, like Laric Picard, and he's
Hmm.
like, yeah, it's great. He's like, you literally just go on, perform for 15 minutes, do a few backflips, he's like, all people want to see is a backflip. You do like a
Yeah,
couple of airs, couple of 360s, backflip, you go home, you're getting paid. And he's like, but then he does say he's like, I think I probably started doing it too early. He's like, because I've been able
yeah,
to backflip for as long as I can remember. I'll probably be able to backflip into my 40s. And he's like, so I could basically do this whenever. And I feel like
yeah.
if you've got that certain level of park skating or ramp skating, it is one of those things that you can just kind of like hold off as like a
Yeah,
plan B if nothing
that's
else
that's
works out. And then you go, yeah, I'll just do that for a bit.
so no, I think it's cool, but not at this point for me.
Right. Okay.
We'll wait a bit longer, I think.
But have you ever got so injured at skate competitions that then you can't DJ? Like, have you ever like messed up your hand or your arm, or you're like, great, now I can't actually stand at, like a set of decks?
No,
No?
no, never,
Okay.
never.
But you got injured in Italy, right?
Yeah, I had a few injuries. I've torn my ACL and the outside of meniscus, but that was already what was it? Uh, 3 years or maybe 2 years ago. I tore my ACL. Yeah. So
Right, wait, explain that to me. You've been skating with a torn ACL for
no,
three
no, no.
years.
I've torn it like 2 years ago, and then I got surgery. But I was out for 1.5 years or so. So I was that's why I couldn't compete in Argentina at the World Skate Games that they had there,
Right.
because at that point I was in surgery. Then in total I had 4 surgeries on the knee. Even when I became third at Winterclash, I had my next surgery planned like 2 days after Winterclash, like straight away. Um, because the wound got it wouldn't close, it's keep on splitting open every time. So even at Winterclash, I skated the ball contest, and then I landed on the place where it wouldn't close, and then it just split open again.
Well, yeah, it's not going to heal if you keep skating and falling on it.
But
Like,
I spoke to the doctors, and they were like, "Okay, do this one, and then take your rest." So, but I was in already maybe a year after surgery. So I had my first surgery, and then a
right.
year later, I had Winterclash. And then even at Winterclash, the wound just wouldn't close, and we said, okay, we because there was because of a metal plate they put in my knee, my body just rejected that metal plate. Then they just said, yeah, or just skate Winterclash, give it your all, and then 2 days after we're gonna plan the last surgery. Yeah, so that was. But now with DJing and standing up, I don't DJ that long. I DJ for 2 years now,
Okay.
so never happened.
So what was the injury in at the World Skate Games that you couldn't compete in the street? It wasn't, please tell me it wasn't that fall that you put on Instagram where you basically just like slapped the ground, because that is the worst luck ever.
Yeah, yeah, that was it.
That was
That was
it.
it.
So
Yeah, that was it.
you just thinking there's a ramp there when there isn't, and like
Yeah,
trying to like pump into it and basically just pumping into
yeah,
flat ground. That's that is horrendous luck.
yeah, yeah. No, that was stupid. So we already had like the full week of skating the park, so I was
Right.
tired. We had to switch hotels, and we got there, and then we had our practice. We actually had a bit more for street. We had about 1 hour and 20 minutes, 2 sessions or something. But then I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna keep it a bit chill because tomorrow we will have another practice, and then I will try to do a bit more. But then, yeah, I can't keep it chill that often. So I just saw a gap which Niels Jansson actually did, and Julian Cadeau, like from the ramp to the little rail. Julian did it with 450 back Royale and 440 back Savannah. So I dropped in, like I did the little thing from there, and then did the topsail, and then my focus was to do the same gap to the rail. But so my focus was already there, and I just dropped in on the stairs. No, like I thought it was just a bank, and I was like going for it, and I dropped with all that I had to do the
Yep.
disaster, and then I went straight to my ribs. So I went straight to the ribs, couldn't breathe, and then tried to get up, couldn't get up. So I knew instantly it was bad. Yeah,
What were they broken or like fractured or anything?
didn't check them. No, I
Right.
didn't check them because a broken ribs or bruised rib,
I mean, they
it's
can't do anything anyway. Yeah, you just wait.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. So, well, that was stupid, eh? Yeah, that
Please,
was so.
please tell me your parents weren't watching when you did that, because they're like, this kid doesn't even know where the ramps are. Like,
No, but then the thing is, so they went home.
right. Thank,
But
thank God.
yeah, but then my brother, he was also supposed to go home, but I was like, hey, stay for a bit longer, just stay an extra 5 more days with me, we'll have fun. And then the first day, the first practice, bam, I fell, and he was like, okay, so I booked I booked another flight, and then you hurt yourself on the ribs.
Right.
So no, I couldn't skate anymore. Breathing was painful. It's still painful. Moving, I still it when I'm moving, so I really have to keep it chill for a little bit. And then
How
when the
much,
pain is gone,
uh, how much shit did the other skaters give you for that fall? Because they'd have been like, man, you okay? And then they'd be like, dude, you're so dumb. Why did you do that?
but then if you look at the video, a lot of people had that fall. I mean, not that hard. Also, Fritz had it,
Right.
which you saw in the video. Like a lot of people had the same fall, but just not that hard. I tried to go. I tried to go as fast as possible, But no, they first they were like, "Oh, that sucks," but then they were like, "That was stupid," and they just, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, I got them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. Um, so this is another bit that kind of confuses me, right? So you're entering all these pro level events, right? You're getting first place, second place, third place. You're beating the top guys in the world, or at least you're there. You're
Hmm.
like you're in contention. But then you're amateur for a boot brand. Those two things
Yeah.
don't really. It's like that's like competing on the PGA and being in like the top five at like
Hmm.
major events, but then like I don't know, golf club sponsors like, we're just flowing you clubs. We're not going to put you on the salary. Like it's a
No, I
bit
think,
it's a
yeah,
bit weird.
yeah. But I think that's also my own fault. I think I don't put it in their shoes. I think that's also my own fault. Why is that? Because I think it's really important to keep your sponsors up to date what you're doing because they have a lot of athletes, and I think you as an athlete have to just schedule a meeting once in a while and then catch up and talk a bit more, and that way you inform them in what you're doing, and in maybe you want to innovate some things within their brand. And I think I didn't do that enough, um, but I recently do now. Like I set up meetings, I talk to Matthias regularly, so I'm doing it now. But I see your point that it's a bit weird, and I'm on the amateur team, and then maybe it's also because of the street skating. Eh? I mean, I didn't film that much recent. I mean, I filmed nothing recently. I just went into like a maybe a hyper focus and left the other things a bit on the side, which is also a thing I'm going to change in the future.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm still young. There's no rush for me to like be a pro because what is a pro these days?
I mean, this is true. It's also like, is that important to you? Because even if you are a pro for the brand, what is that much going to change? Like, is it going to make that much difference to you other than the status of saying I'm pro for USD? Like,
Yeah. But then at the same time, I want to be pro for USD. I think every skater wants it. But we had a good chat, and there are a few changes that are coming in the
right.
future.
But by these changes, did you go, Matthias, get rid of Roman Abra. Sign Roman Abra. He doesn't even win contests. I win contests.
But he's still killing it.
He's still killing it, but he's not
Yeah.
winning. He
No.
doesn't
Yeah.
he doesn't win. In fact, more often than not, he just falls.
Yeah. 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 And he was coaching at the World Skate Games. He was coaching other friends. Or sorry, not the. He was not the head coach, but he was like getting along with the juniors, and one of his students, he was coaching the students. He did.
Okay, because if he was coaching the pro guys, Gillian would be like, "Man, I don't need your advice."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. True. No, but no, he was helping out the French team though. But no, there are a few changes that are coming up within Power Slide.
right. Also, I keep forgetting there's also junior events at the World Skate Games. So, like, some countries were sending like little kids as well.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's quite well. Yeah, because yeah, the UK definitely was not doing that. Actually, there wasn't really much American presence at the World Skate Games either. I mean, Fritz. Let's be honest, Fritz is not a competition skater.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then there was Jeff Dallas, who, by the looks of things, paid for himself to go. Um, was there anyone else from the States even competing?
No,
I don't.
I don't
I
think
can't.
so.
I can't really
No.
think of any American skaters that could compete on like the bowl contest because there's not really any like American like big ramp skaters.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
true.
also
And yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
like as in obviously there has been like obviously you've got like Chris Haffey or Dave Lang
Yeah.
or like those guys, but those guys don't compete anymore. Like even
Yeah.
Australia, when Australia sent over their guys, they sent over guys from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I didn't know they were still skating, never
Yeah,
mind competing
which is
internationally.
pretty sick though.
Like that was crazy. Like oh god, Sam Fogarty. I was like, I haven't seen Sam Fogarty
Yeah,
skate
yeah,
footage of him like in a video or whatever in like 20 years.
yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah.
It was good. But yeah, sure. They sent a lot of also like old legends they sent through, and then also people that don't skate that much competitions anymore. But it's all so I think a little bit difficult now because a friend of mine, which is a junior, he was second place in London, where I took the win. But then at the amateurs, but he also wanted to join the World Skate Games, but because we don't have a federation, it's really difficult to sign yourself up. Like the World Skate Games, they gave me a wild card. So what I had to do, I had to like send them an email, and then I had to explain all of my past results and the sponsors and the things I was doing, and then you get a wild card or you don't get a wild card.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to sign yourself up if you're not having a federation. Maybe a few other people had the same problem why they couldn't come or didn't know how to sign up or
Okay. Yeah, because I
yeah,
spoke to some of the Brazilian guys and they were like, oh no, we had to like win national
yeah.
qualifiers and stuff like that to get in. Do you know of any other people that got wild cards?
Yeah, a few get maybe no she wasn't skating. Like at the end of the day, probably Joe also received a wild card because there's no
I suppose there's no
federation.
national event. Yeah,
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 so I think every country that hasn't or that haven't had a federation, yeah, you have to sign yourself up for a wild card. Yeah,
yeah. But Joe's probably made like it's probably a little bit easier for him because he's like, I've got all
yeah,
these like FISE World Championship or whatever it's called things. Like, here you go. Here's just
yeah,
the
yeah. And for me, it wasn't a problem to join the event because I also had to do it the same for FISE Montpellier. This year, I also had to send them an email about receiving a wild card. But imagine for like the young kids that want to join that don't have a federation,
yeah.
it it will be like a pain in the ass for them to come, because they have to send in what they don't know if they can even compete. Yeah, so that was and do all the courses and stuff. So it's a pretty big thing now these days to join the FISE and the World Skate Games.
Right. Have you got any other? So, I mean, you've already been on quite the tear in the past 6 months, but have you got any other events that you're going to be doing before the end of the year, or anywhere else you're going to?
I'm going to Blading Cup.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is going to be a change of pace because
Yep.
those are not big ramps.
Hmm. And
Those are the opposite of big ramps.
yeah, and that's what I told earlier, right? So I was a bit too hyper focused in one lane, and I think I need to change it up a bit more. And that's yeah, that's exactly why I'm going to like Blading Cup. Probably gonna stay there for a few more days to skate some street and to film some street. Um, the same I'm doing with Barcelona. So every winter I'm heading to a friend of mine, Adrian, because he lives there, and then I try to be there for a month or so and skate street and to develop myself. And that's the reason I'm heading to a Blading Cup. Yeah.
It is kind of crazy that so like you can win these, you can like get top three or like win these events like I don't know, like say like winning a fees, right?
Hmm.
And yet for some reason it doesn't have the same cultural significance as if you won a much smaller and quote unquote easier competition.
Yeah.
And an example of that is Mikhail Wietzman won Blading Cup, and then within 6 months or within 12 months of winning Blading Cup, had a pro skate.
Hmm. Yeah.
And all he like to be fair, like Mikhail Wietzman's been putting in the work, he's putting out street sections and stuff like that. But it kind of feels like USD went, oh, you won Blading Cup. That's like, whoa, like that's the thing in it. Like
Well, let me do the same then.
like you're going pro, here's your skate. And I was like, okay, but it's a relatively it's one of the bigger events in the US, but
Yeah,
in the international scale, it's one of the much smaller events.
it is. Yeah.
It's just like in America, there's not that much competition. There's only like 4 or 5 major competitions in the US
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah. Yeah. but it's good. I think I think he deserves it though. He's a unique skater with a unique style, and I think that's also what they're looking for within.
Oh no, yeah, they're definitely like I feel like they're investing in
Yeah.
what's current in blading and like the fact that he is young and does have like time to develop and stuff like that. So it is, yeah, it's definitely a good thing. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how you're gonna do in like a competition that's basically like P rails and box rails and
Yeah.
like driveway ramps and stuff like that. That'll be
Switch it up a bit, huh?
you're gonna have to show off your technical grinding skills because I don't think there's going to be much in the way of
No, but that's perfect.
acrobatic airs taking place.
That's great. But then at the same time, if you look at my skating during FISE or during the World Skate Games, I'm I'm doing some flips, but not that my run is full of flips. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not doing double backflips. I'm not doing cork stuff. I can't even do like a straight backflip. I can't go up a ramp and do. I mean, I could do the fakey backflip, but I can't just do a regular backflip. And that's also, I think, what separates me a bit. You know, I'm trying to do the more technical stuff. I mean, I'm spinning and I'm going high, and this is going to be different. But I actually love skating this kind of thing. So yeah, I just want to show that it's a completely other side. But I think it's cool to go there.
okay. Um, also could be an opportunity to stick around and try and get some street footage. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I got to. I have to. There are some really good changes coming up in the future, which will be announced around that period of time. So I think it's good to be there.
What do you mean changes? What does that mean?
You will find out around November. Or
No one likes a tease, Yarrow. No one likes a tease. Right, okay.
maybe some no. It's gonna be it's gonna be a good change, and that's also the reason why I'm heading to Blading Cup, and one of which why I'm gonna film some street there.
Okay. Um, you heard it here first. Jaro Frijn's signed for Standard Skate Co. He's going to be joining Yandrel Silverio, Stefan Brando, and Brian Weiss.
And
He's the fourth. He's the fourth member of the team. People, you heard it here first. So see, see the last street part that you had for USD, the one that you released in like 2017 or whatever it was.
yeah,
Was that the last street section you filmed? Yeah, that's man, that was a long time ago.
yeah, it was a long time ago.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm really good at maths. That was like almost 7 years ago.
yeah, yeah. But it was because in 2019 I started like doing the fee stuff around that period of time, and then I went to China for the first time. I went to Japan the first time, and then from that point of on, I think I also quit school in 2000. What was it? Maybe 2019, 2020. I quit school to like fully focus on skating. So, but yeah, I need to film
You're
some stuff
young.
too. I
You're
mean, I
young.
went to.
You've got all this free time. Don't make excuses. Julian Cadeau's winning all these events and putting out 3 street parts a year, and he's
Okay,
old.
so that
He's
okay,
old as hell.
true. It's totally true. But then the thing is, I went to Barcelona, and I think I did my best street skating over there. I don't know if you've seen it, but I didn't make an edit of it. I went to Barcelona.
What was that? As in, was it just something you put on Instagram or?
Yeah, yeah. I
Right.
think I
Okay.
put like the
I'm
street.
terrible. I'm rubbish with like social media. Is
Get your
not
game up.
is not my thing. I'm old. I'm too old. Social media is a mystery to me. Right. Okay.
No, but then maybe the people that are watching maybe know it. But I went to Barcelona to stay there like a week or so, and I went there with nothing. I just wanted to be there, hang out with the people there, and skate a bit of street, and then exploring that type of skating a little bit more. So I went there. I was there for a week. I went back home, and then within 2 or 3 days, I booked my flight back again, and then stayed another probably 2.5 weeks or so. And then in that period of time, it was last year, November probably. I skated street every day, posted clips on the Instagram, like in my eyes, pretty big tricks, pretty pretty good tricks that I never done before. But just put them every day on Instagram because I was filming like this. It's yeah, we don't film like this that much anymore. It's
Yeah.
just a straight thing, and I wasn't even expecting me to like do such tricks. I didn't go there with a plan. I just went there, skate street, and turns out to be like really good. So I think sometimes putting no pressure on yourself, just enjoying being somewhere, makes you a better skater. But I agree that I need to put out a part in.
I was gonna say like if it was intentional or not, or like do you actually enjoy skating street, or do you feel like you have to because that's what the majority of the industry expects, or that's what you need to do to get ahead? Because it is still this kind of things have changed a lot, and it's no longer like, oh, you're a competition skater, you're just a part skater. It's there's no longer that mentality, but it still kind of feels like in our industry, if you want to get ahead, you have to have street footage.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I don't think that at all. I think it's more the opposite side because I've skated so much in big skate parks and bulls and did like big stuff. I still love to do that, but then at the local skate parks, I'm doing it right now. I prefer to do some street skating and to grind some smaller reels and to improve my skating on that part. I think that's my yeah, that's my goal for now, and I think I'm enjoying skating big skate park less now these days because I did it so often, like skating big skate park. So I'm actually
I
looking
did
forward
wonder if it
to.
was, yeah, I wondered if it was something you're like, God, like there's only so many times I can like 720 over this thing or like 540 over this ramp or like, I don't know, like you're like, oh, great, another huge quarter pipe. Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. So it's still good, but no, I think street skating or like grinding reels and improving myself on that is the goal for now, and I really enjoy that. Yeah.
But when you land a really impressive trick on street, no one runs over to you and gives you a check or a medal.
No,
They
true.
just, if anything, sometimes your friends don't even applaud.
Yeah, yeah. It's a whole different thing. Like I see it like this, like the skate park and the park skating and the medals and the winning competition is good for like the brands outside of inline skating and also within, of course, but mostly for the brands outside of inline skating because they see it's on television, they see the live stream, they see the people that are there. And then the street skating is more for the industry itself. I mean, it's still for the social media and stuff, but how are you going to explain like the brand from outside skating that, that street skating is the thing? No, they just want to see results. They want to see you on the big podiums. They want to see you there, not grinding a hand drill. So I
Yeah.
thought, yeah,
I feel like it's easier to explain park skating to someone. You can be like, look, there's a really high air. That's impressive. Or look, there's a really big
yeah,
spin. That's obviously impressive. But
mhm,
then you show someone street skating and you can show them like 20 different grinds on a rail or a ledge, and they're like, every
it's
grind just
easy.
looks the same. Like you're just sliding along it. Like, which one's the hardest?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So that's I think we really need both the park skating still, but then what you said, I think if you're a good street skater and a good park skater, to combine those both things at a competition, that's exactly what Julian is doing right now.
So I'm curious that if that's your outlook on it, who are your favorite skaters that you like, looked up to or like took inspiration from, or like even still now that you're like, oh yeah, they really impress me.
So the a bit of a fun thing is I take like stuff from like little pieces of things from all skaters. For example, Joe couldn't skate at Montpellier 2024 because of the shoulder injury, but then he came to watch, and then there was like a little fence because I hate to like take tricks from skaters that are in the same run. I don't like if Julian is doing a trick that I can do. I'm not gonna redo that trick in my heat. I just don't like it. I think it's a creative process. But I like, for example, Joe was there watching, and then I did like some kind of stall against the fence out of the ramp, and then jumped back in. And then after our training, he went to me and said, "Yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Something that I see what you did there, but I'll be back. Eh?
Yeah.
You know, so so I take things from different kind of skaters. For the street, it's probably Levi van Rijn from the Netherlands. I've skated a lot with him, um, or and it just amazed me how creative he skates and how he uses everything in a unique way that you couldn't like probably think of, you know?
Yeah.
So the street skating definitely Levi, and then for the skate parks and the big stuff, yeah, the I love Joe skating, CJ skating, Julian Cadeau, of course, like the work he's putting in. So, but it's Niels, yeah, it's there are like so many great skaters, but I don't think I have like a specific favorite. Like you're my one.
Yeah.
Brian Aragon was the one for me though.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, Levy's a funny one because I feel like he was so much more technical when he was younger, but I think he's so much more interesting now. And I think
yeah,
that's like the argument. Like you don't need to do the hardest tricks or the most complicated grinds or switch ups or spins to grinds, whatever. You just need to make it look interesting or different or unique somehow. And I feel like that's what he's got better at, like carving his own lane or like doing stuff that people are like, yeah, that's like really original or like that's you, as opposed to when he was a little kid or he was on Adapt and it was like, oh, he can do really hard stuff,
yeah,
but you can't actually remember any of his tricks.
true.
Whereas now you can remember his stuff. You're like, there's like stuff stuck in your brain, like the
Hmm.
coffin slide, like
Yeah,
under the like gap in coffin slide, or like his recent
yeah,
Instagram thing where he rolls up the wall and 540s like out the transit. And I'm like, that's gonna be stuck in people's heads.
yeah.
So
And
um
also with the way he's doing it, and then he's a really good street skater, but he can also fly. He can also spin. He can also fly, but he just doesn't show. I mean, he loves to do it. He actually said to me, "Yeah, I want to join you to like those big ramps and train you a bit for that, and maybe then I'll join FISE someday or the World Skate Games." So he is really interested in like doing it, and I think he's an all around really good skater.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um so you've had street parts out before. Has Cavan ever approached you to get you to come on to have a section in Plastic Pushers?
So he was filming a lot in the Netherlands, and but it was always around a pretty difficult time for me because I like always have competitions, you know. So I didn't want to. I want to. I want to perform when I'm having a section in plastic pushers, and it was always like hard to manage because I had competition, so I had to save my body a bit for those competitions. But this summer we actually filmed. I mean, I'm not getting my own section, but
Yeah.
we have filmed some street. Yeah, so
Oh,
there were
so
clips in
he
there
does
from
have some footage of you, right? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Because
I'm
Cavan's
not sure
usually
if you're gonna
quite
use it, but he has it.
right. Because he is Cavan's incredibly pushy and like so bossy, and like I'm surprised he hasn't been like blowing up your messages, being like, come out and film, make a part, like do this, like because
Mhm.
he's like that with everyone. So
Yeah, my focus just wasn't there at the time when I told him. But I had a few sessions with Levi, with Kevin, and with some other people that were actually pretty fun though. So who knows in the future?
all right. So once upon a time, before UST, there was rollerblade.
Yep. Oh, you did your research, huh?
How did I just remember you being how did you get on was rollerblade through
Yeah.
Sven
Yeah.
Bokhurst? Okay.
So I did a couple of shows when I was younger with Sven with the Mind the Gap stuff.
Yeah.
And we still do that like until now. But then we did a show and he gave me a pair of skates, and then from that point it was like, let's go, let's be on the team. Then let's do the shows together, like be on the shows, and then yeah, from that point, he really helped me, like getting the first things in.
How long did you ride for rollerblade for?
Think about think about a year or so, maybe a bit longer.
Then you
But
betrayed him. Then you turned your back on the most famous Dutch rollerblader of all time, the Dutch national hero.
that's me.
You turned your back on him
But in a good way, though.
in
In
a
a
good
good
way. You betrayed him in a good way, right? Okay.
way.
I'm keen to hear this story. How did you betray him in a good way?
No, 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 I didn't betray them. I mean, I had a, I, we had a good talk. I mean, I was young, but we had a good talk about it. And also the skates at that time, they were hurting my feet a lot. So we were doing like all that we can to make the skate right for my feet,
Yeah.
but it just didn't help. Like my ankles were like hurting after a session. Um, we kind of fixed it back then, but it just wasn't a skate for me.
Okay.
And then USD came with a proposal. I think I won Winterclash that time, like the juniors. And then I had a talk with USD, and then I was like, yeah, I have to grab this opportunity to because back then there also wasn't like a team of rollerblade. He was just
Yeah.
supporting some guys with skates and trying to make a bit of team. Like now there's a big rollerblade team, but 2017 I believe it was. I don't think or 2015. I don't even remember something like that.
That's it. It has been, they've been a bit kind of like start and stop with having a team, not having a team, having a pro
Yeah,
team, and then
yeah.
yeah. Um, I did wonder about that because I was like, there's no way you didn't, there's no way a Dutch rollerblader did not get on rollerblade through
Yeah,
Sven. Like that's the only, like I feel like that's the only way it happens.
yeah, yeah. It was my first sponsor though.
Right. Okay. So you're currently skating for USD. This is so. Anyone else? Have I forgotten?
Running for Blade Club as
Blade
well,
Club. Okay.
and then
I'm
uh,
assuming that's through AJ and
yeah,
AJ Stein and because of fees. I'm assuming you met him there.
yeah,
Right. Okay.
yeah. So I met him there, and then we started talking, and then slowly had a few meetings, and running for him as well.
I've interviewed him before. He comes across as a really nice guy.
Yeah,
He's pretty funny.
yeah, he is, and he's really good with my family. We had dinner together with him and my family in Rome. So
Okay.
yeah, no, he also stayed at my place for a week or so, like 2 years ago already.
Right.
And I
What's he like to hang about with? Because he strikes me as someone who likes to have a good time.
yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
Me too. No, no, no. He's chill. Like
Really? I thought he'd be. I thought he would quite like to party.
no, I wouldn't say
No.
that. I mean, he likes to drink a beer, but then at the same time, um, you've probably seen him on the outside or during feasts or during like the big things. I don't know how close you are with him, but he was just chilling on my couch and like being really chill actually. And then
Right.
when he
Okay.
goes out, then maybe his yeah. But he's a good guy.
All right. Okay.
Chill but likes to party. Me too though.
I guess I suppose like most of the time you're seeing him at is probably at events and with fees and stuff. He's obviously working there, so he can't
Yeah,
like he can't. He's got to behave to a certain extent because if he loses his voice, he can't do all like the like commentary and stuff like that he does. So yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's hard. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So you've got Blade Cup coming up, get DJ shows,
Yeah.
performance. What like any other plans for the future that you can tell me about before we wrap this up and I'll let you get on with your evening.
um, what can I say? What can I say? Yeah, so this is the part that I think is really annoying because I really want to tell everything that's coming up there. So there are a few big changes coming up for me, but I just can't tell exactly what those changes are, which is really annoying. I know why do it. So I completely understand that, but yeah, Blading Cup from Blading Cup there will be a Fuck, this is so difficult. No.
You do
For
realize you're
now.
not allowed to make any announcements at Blading Cup. The whole point of Blading Cup is it's for them skates to make announcements. You're not allowed to
I
announce
know,
anything.
I know, I know, I know. No, so I'm gonna head to Blake Cup, stay there for a few more days, and then after that I'm heading to, yeah, probably chill a bit. Then Winterclash is the next one, and then from that point it's gonna be again and again with the competition stuff, mixing in some street as well.
I was about to say, what's the time limit on giving us a new street part? Because you're 7 years overdue already. So
Yeah, hope hopefully I'll manage to film a street part after Blading Cup. Yeah, so that's the goal for now,
okay.
to film it after Blading Cup.
I'm very
But
curious to see how you're going to do in this setup. I think this is going to be quite interesting. I think hope we're going to see another side to Jaro Frijn on modular skate obstacles.
yeah, I'm really curious too, though. But it's yeah.
Just try not to drop into any stairs, right? Just don't.
Oh, I hear that one so much. Or maybe do it on purpose, just stare bash it, but then even harder.
Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, stairs are not my friend anymore.
Well, hope the ribs heal up fast, and
Thank
yeah, have a good time at Blading Cup, and hope you enjoy the rest of your year.
thank
Thanks
you
for
for
taking
having
the time
me.
to do it.
Great
And
chat.
hey, this has been fun. This has been great. Yeah. Right, man. Speak soon.
Speak soon. Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.